Welcome to Together Unprocessed, where 5 friends from across the world share real conversations about food, healing, and life. Let's get started.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Cindy. I am just over the line in Michigan from Ohio, and it is starting to get cold here. Kim, share where you are.
I'm in Ontario, Canada, and just like Cindy, we're getting very cold here as well. I think we're at 5 degrees Celsius this morning.
Olivia.
I am in the UK, and we're not very cold yet, but it's going to come because we are in the UK. But it's nice and sunny today.
And, what time is it there, Olivia?
It is 1:45 in the afternoon.
And it's 7:45 a.m. here, which is kind of cool. Ashley, let's hear about your season and where you are and what time it is.
I'm Ashley, and I'm in Tasmania, Australia. It is 11:45 at night, and we are supposed to be in spring, but we are having our second winter. So the fire is still going. We've had wild weather this week, and we're at 4 degrees at the moment. So it's still pretty chilly.
I just love hearing all of that and how you're at the other end of the world, and we are having this great conversation. Hugo, how about you? I love where you're from too.
Of course, Tallinn, Estonia. It's almost 3 p.m. here, and yeah, it's pretty cold, but at least it's sunny, so it's about 8 degrees. But yeah, it was around 4 or 5 degrees before, so I expect more.
Well,
cold.
It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit here, and one of the things I want to do is learn how to do that conversion without having to think about it. Maybe someday, right?
There's
So
an easy
I
trick.
just want to share this.
-30, and then divide by half.
Minus
So
30 and divide by. I
that's
have
what-
to get really faster at
that-
doing
that's-
that.
That's what I do usually when I'm converting
Okay.
from Fahrenheit to Celsius. It's decent accurate.
Okay,
So
I
14
love that.
degrees Celsius, Cindy. 14 degrees Celsius.
That makes sense. I'm getting there. All right. 50 is 14. I got it. So today we have kind of an interesting episode, I think. We're going to talk about Black Friday. And before I jump into that, speaking of things that we might want to buy on Black Friday, this is my little Rubbermaid container, which is my cold plunge. And I have to share, if I can see it there, there we go, that yesterday I did not do my cold plunge, and I was not in such a good mood. And I realized it in the evening, and that, this is probably the thing. So anyway, look forward to that episode. Black Friday, did you guys know where the idea the word Black Friday came from? Anybody?
No.
So I looked this up, and I had heard about it, that I knew about the Black Friday, like being in the black as an accountant. I used to be an accountant. And I remember hearing about that years ago, but turns out Black Friday started the term in Philadelphia. After Thanksgiving, there was just a lot of people coming into the town for the Navy Army game, football game, and it created just a lot of havoc and a lot of shopping. And the police are the ones who started the term Black Friday, because things would get out of hand and it was difficult. It kind of had a negative connotation, even though then there were all these sales going on. So years later, they decided to change the reason for the name to thinking about the bottom line in the books. So in other words, the accountants came up with the idea, okay, instead of these retailers being in the red, meaning they weren't making any money, they were at a loss, Black Friday would put them over into the black so that they were making money. And that was more of a positive connotation. Isn't that kind of funny? Had you guys ever heard that before?
Nope.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. So kind of fun. That was like between the 50s and 60s when it was kind of the negative connotation, then kind of switched in the 70s. And then it's just kind of morphed from there. So I wanted to share a couple of stories about what Black Friday meant to me growing up. I mean, I remember hearing about it probably when I was in middle school or something. And it was this whole idea of getting to the store super early the day after Thanksgiving. Of course, we live in a different world now where everything is so electronic and we're buying things online. But literally, I remember going to bed on Thanksgiving night, going, okay, how early do we need to get up and get to the store by 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning at the latest? And some people would get there at 6 a.m. And I remember one time getting there between 6 and 7 in the morning, and it was packed. And so the retailers would have all of these great deals. They might put stuff out like on the sidewalks, or especially in the mall, they'd be like pull these racks out in the middle, and sometimes they were even giving stuff away. So it was kind of crazy. So that's in the Ohio, Michigan area. I'm curious, do you guys have any stories or memories of getting up early and doing that kind of thing back when Black Friday was a little bit different than it is today?
When I lived in Virginia, this is my story of Black Friday, and we have Black Friday all the time. We'll have Black Friday in Canada in flipping March, just because it's that great draw in. But when I was living in Virginia, there was being a Canadian in the Navy down there, we had other Canadian families, and it was a big thing for us, the Black Friday, because boy, we could get some pretty wicked deals. And I remember the whole week up to it, we would sit and we'd cut out all these different coupons and all these different places, and we would map our whole route where we're going to go, like Kmart, Walmart, all these different places. We started at like 4:30 in the morning on Black Friday. And even then the lineups were unbelievable. However, so were the deals. So it was worth it. So that's my story on Black Friday.
Well, I can say that in the UK, we don't have Black Friday. It's something we've adopted from the US, so it's starting to come over here now. But we have something called Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas. And it's always a public holiday here, the day after Christmas. It's called Boxing Day, but that's the day when all the sales start. And so everybody gets up early on Boxing Day to line up outside whatever store you want to go and get the best deals at. And you basically have to kind of go to bed early on Christmas Day. So I've never done it because I've never cared that much to go to bed early on Christmas Day, get up early on Boxing Day. So, but that's the kind of most similar thing we'd have here in the UK.
Yeah, we have that too.
I grew up in South Africa. So I'm like Olivia, we had Boxing Day. So I never even knew about Black Friday until we probably came over to Australia. And then it's also something that seems to be adopted in Australia, because in Australia also have Boxing Day as well after Christmas. But we every year we say we're going to do the Boxing Day sales for the following year, and somehow we never do. So I've never been one to actually get involved in it, but yeah, I do probably take advantage of a few of the Black Friday sales that have started coming online. So we are it seems to be becoming more and more the norm now. A few of the holidays that have come over from the US to Australia as well.
I didn't realize what Boxing Day was on the calendar. I'd see Boxing Day on the calendar, but didn't know what that was. Olivia?
Well, it seems like we've spread it to Canada and South Africa and all our colonies. So that's
right. What about Estonia, Hugo?
It's never really been a major thing here. Christmas is more of the main holiday we have, but now it's starting to catch on. We have that craze spreading here too. So we have some Black Friday, masses gathering, but it's nowhere near like you described. So we don't have those long lines, but there are, people out to get like discounts and all of that during that time. I'd say Christmas is more a bigger event than Black Friday is. But Cyber Monday also that that follows.
Right.
So that's
I must say, I love the fact that we don't have to get up at 4 a.m., Kim, like you were doing, and we can still enjoy some great deals. And I remember my first Cyber Monday, which really wasn't that long ago in the big scheme of things, like in the last 20 years, and thinking, oh, this is great because, you can do it in your pajamas at home. So anyway, we want to share with you guys some of our favorite things out of some very important categories for us as we are all on this journey of health and wellness and just trying to figure it out, right? And so it's definitely helpful to get some products at a lower rate, especially as you're trying things out. I feel like for myself, it's like what works for one person might not work for someone else. And so we got to try things. And I do spend a lot of money trying different things, and we might as well get them at a good deal. So we have some categories. Let's start with kitchen gear and cooking and those kinds of things. And you guys have some great ideas. Who wants to start that off with your thoughts?
Well, okay, I guess I can start. You know,
Good.
I think I used to do I didn't know how to cook meat properly 2 years ago. So I had to learn from zero basically. Now I used to cook other cuisines, but each thing you cook, like vegetables or like anything, requires some specialty and like knowledge and skills. And different cuisines have different standards and what you need to do. But I'd say since I've been cooking meat, there are like essential items that one should get. Otherwise, the result is not gonna be as you expect, or at or above restaurant level. And you can easily achieve above restaurant level if you are dedicated. And I'd say the number one most important thing is a thermometer. So just having that's invaluable. Unless you're charring or like cooking meat to well done, then maybe in that case it's not that useful. But then again, there are other uses for a thermometer. But if you want medium rare consistently or any other doneness, that's why you need a thermometer, so you can actually get that. Otherwise, if you're just going by feel or touch, that's just not consistent. I've cooked hundreds of steaks, probably 1,000 at this point, so I have a lot of experience in this regard, and that's what I would definitely get. And you need a good pan too. You get a cast iron or stainless steel one. There are recommendations in Europe and Amazon, really good picks. I think in the US it's Lodge. They have amazing cast iron cookware, so if you can get that, that's pretty good. And in Europe we have a lot of we have some excellent stainless steel pan and pot makers, manufacturers like Demeyere and Demeyere, which is from Italy, I think. So you can get those items. I think out of the stainless steel options, Demeyere Proline 7. In the US, it's called Atlantis. That's the best stainless steel pan ever I've used. It is thick, it's heavy, but it has an amazing sear. So out of those items, I use a stainless steel pan most of the time, but I still use a cast iron, when I'm doing slow cooks or when I want to get that specific flavor, because cast iron imparts different flavor to the meat you're cooking, which can and might not work, depends on you. And the downside is you really can't use it on acidic food because you have iron leaching and you have too strong of a taste, but that's solved with a stainless steel pan or pot. So I'd say get both. Don't just get one, but yeah.
I have a question about stainless steel, you guys. I've never been able to cook on it because everything sticks so horribly. Even if I use, okay, Olivia, tell me, how do you fix that problem?
We have to preheat it. So you put it on, and then as it's getting hotter, you test it by throwing a few drops of water in it. And if the water is like vaporizing and evaporating, it's not ready yet. When the water turns to like a bubble and starts spinning around like a bit of mercury, then it's ready. And then you can put your whatever it is, your eggs, whatever. The eggs stick more than anything else. So this is how I know it works, because eggs no longer stick when we do that. So that's a really important trick for stainless steel. Like you have to prime it first. You also take it off for like about 30 seconds before you put it back on and put the food in, just so it's kind of ready. And then it won't stick. It will just be like a normal pan.
And for those who don't know, that's the lead-in frost effect, which is basically the steam evaporates so fast under the water so that it lifts it. So the water droplet isn't, evaporating on the pan, but the steam is underside of it. So it's floating kind of on the pan. It's pretty cool.
All right, I can see that as a future episode and demonstration. Anyway, Kim, what do you got?
I'm just going to say what I use every single day, and probably 95%, if not more. Of course, I'm cooking meat, and that's anywhere from chicken, pork, eggs, beef, etc. So my main cooking vessels are, I use the Instapot. And that's when I want to do a roast and all that kind of stuff because, one, it's stainless steel on the inside. I think it's fantastic. And also you can do canning with the Instapot. So using mason jars to do canning and all that kind of stuff. And Instapot is actually exactly that. It's got all these different things that you can do. Like you can make your beef jerky, make all kinds of stuff. So Instapot is one. I use the Traeger a lot. The Traeger can be used as a barbecue, as a smoker, as an oven, as anything. The Traeger is actually quite universal. And I use a dehydrator. I dehydrate a lot. I do beef jerky every time I turn around. Like I have beef jerky and I'm ready to do some more. I use the dehydrator for beef jerky. I've done chicken. I've done pork. I've done cold cuts, which were delicious. So my dehydrator I use a lot. And the other one is the air fryer. And that's the one I probably use the most, is the air fryer. Because it's quick, it's easy. You pop it in there, you take your food from the freezer, you throw it in your air fryer, and 20-25 minutes is ready to go. So I've been very happy for the last 3 years, and I haven't had an issue. My food has been absolutely delicious. And even, I agree with Hugo, use a thermometer. They show you that trick, like this is well done, medium well, whatever. It doesn't work. You can touch your food all you want. You're not going to get it down to where it's supposed to be. So, yeah, that's what I use in-house for cooking and storing. And I'll store in a mason jar too. Actually, I just picked up from Amazon. It's a sealer that you put on top of your mason jar, and it actually seals it. And you can do it over and over and over and again. So it's really good. Like you have leftover meat, you have your beef jerky, you have hard-boiled eggs and stuff like that. It's a great great product. That's me.
You go.
Yeah. Kim, what air fryer do you have? I just wanted to ask.
Which one do I have?
Yeah, air fryer.
So the air fryer I have is I bought the same one that Beef and Butter Girl has, and I did some research on it, and apparently it's Teflon free. And I'm hoping it is, but I don't really know. I mean, that's the way I went, is I just chose what people were saying, and that's what I use. And also I used a Ninja, and I have 2 other air fryers in the house, of course, as my friends here know.
It is ceramic line, to my knowledge.
So yes, correct.
Yeah.
Probably safer.
That's why I bought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I use an Instant Pot Pro Crisp, so it has dual functions. So it's an Instant Pot and it's also air fryer. So you have different lids. But anyway, there will be a link down in the notes, the description below, which will have the resource about all the different air fryers and which are the safest. Yeah. So, looking at that list, there's a lot of actually options out there, and you can use that. On the grill side, I would just add that Kamado I find to be the best thing. Ever since I got my Kamado Joe Jr, which is really nice, it's portable, and it makes amazing food. Like the best tasting meat I've ever made, and I've never gotten anything close to that in restaurants. So I'm a fan of Kamado, Team Kamado. So anyone wants to buy those, I think their Black Friday discounts should be pretty nice for those.
Yeah, they're not cheap, but if you can get a really nice discount, I with Hugo. I mean, I haven't bought one yet, and it's on my list, but I know many people that use it, and they swear by it. Absolutely.
And you can even use it in winter. You can even, with gas, you have that issue that it doesn't heat up in winter time, but you don't have that issue with Kamado. You just start it slower because of that ceramic housing it has, deep ceramic layer. Yeah, that's fine.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm glad we're putting pictures in here because I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I'll just be honest. And I am not a cook in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's bad, so I could definitely learn something here. Olivia.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely use all those products as well. And on the dehydrator, our kitchen is pretty much a production house for jerky. That's what our kids eat. That's what I'm eating right now. And so we have a pretty big, like, standalone dehydrator. We don't use any of the other products, but what we also have to go with it is a slicer, and it's an electronic one. The ones that you see in the butcher when they're slicing ham, that makes making jerky so much easier, and it makes it a lot thinner, so you get a really nice crisp jerky rather than the kind of thicker version. So we've got this whole kind of process where we freeze the jerky and then we use a slicer to get really thin slices and then put it in the dehydrator. So those slices are really good to have, and especially if you want to get more high quality and quantity of jerky, it's the quickest way to do it. So I would
Olivia,
definitely slicer.
would you say your house is a plant?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, ironically.
So Olivia, before you slice it, do you actually freeze your meat a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to you cut it into chunks, like kind of that, maybe that big, and then you put it in the freezer. You don't fully freeze it. You kind of want to freeze it for like an hour and a half or two. And then it's nice and firm, and then the slicer just cuts it like a dream. If you use a non-frozen piece of meat, it's just kind of like pulling together and pulling in different directions, and you can also cut your finger, so don't do that. So it's a lot easier if you freeze it. If you want to get into jerky making, get a slicer.
Wow, this is so informative. I'm you guys are blowing me away. This is great. This is why I love what we're doing, because topics come up that I never would have asked about. So I can't wait to learn more about that, Olivia. Seriously. Ashley.
I'm gonna just jump in for because I probably do have a lot of what you guys do have. I've got the one all-in-one dehydrator, air fryer, everything as well. But I've also got the crock pot pressure cooker thing, but I've started going away from that again, because we've started going back into slow cooked meals. So I do have a slow cooker, which I'd highly recommend as well, because I also use that to make my own tallow. As well. So I use that a lot for making that. But I've also gone the non-electronic way. So if anybody doesn't want to go the electronic way, I have started using it's a little my Dutch oven again in the actual stove. So not on the stove top, but actually in the stove. I've started doing my a lot of my briskets and things that way, because I'm finding it's a lot easier and slower. Just finding it better for us. So I like the cast iron Dutch ovens as well, as well as the pans and everything that like Hugo was mentioning earlier. So I do like cast iron as well as stainless steel, but that's sort of probably tending to go a little bit more away from the electronical side on some of those things. But I do have them still in the cupboard, as well as my Thermomix too. That also comes in handy.
I've got
so what mixers do you guys use?
Well, I use a Thermomix, which does mixing as well as chopping and everything else as well. I think Olivia's got one too. It's made in Germany, and yeah, they're a great asset to have in the kitchen because you can also cook with them. But I've stopped using it to cook now that I'm doing carnivore. I use it more on the, just the mixing stuff to make things and dog food. Yeah.
Right on.
I wouldn't say a Thermomix is that key asset for a carnivore, because it's more about the cooking side of it, and I wouldn't cook in the Thermomix anymore. Like just use it to make. I do sometimes make cheese sauce in it, but I can easily make it on the stove as well, so you don't really need it. But what I'd say about a mixer is that one thing we do make a lot of in this house is egg whites, because when you're making any kind of carnivore-based different meals, like my kids love to cook in the kitchen, a lot of it is based on obviously not using flour anymore, any kind of rising agent, so you do need to have really well whisked egg whites, and that's the structure of the oopsie cake and many other kind of extra treats that you may want to have from time to time. So the mixer that I have is a KitchenAid, and I would not have any other mixer. Like I've always had a KitchenAid. I used to do a lot of baking, and it's the best mixer to have for egg whites. So you can still do your egg whites in a Thermomix or in a like a blender type thing, but to have a real good mixer which aerates it and gets all the structure of the egg whites kind of solid, that's a really good one to have, is the KitchenAid mixer.
I would add like a hand blender or a separate blender. That would be an option too. Like if you're doing some certain carnivore keto recipes, especially butter mayonnaise, which I just made today. It's really easy with a nice high power blender. because the cheaper one, like the weaker ones,
The immersion
really
one,
can't get the yeah. You can use a hand blender or you can use the standalone.
Yeah.
And I have the standalone, and it can easily make mayo. You just need to get the the salt right. You have to be very careful with getting the emulsion first, but I couldn't do that with my weaker hand blenders.
Yeah.
I need a proper high powered one. So just a note there.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
And
that's a great thought.
I was going to say, if you're making a butter coffee, you can get a smaller version of the immersion blender where you just froth. It's like a frother, but you can get a high-powered one that actually emulsifies the butter in the coffee. They're really handy as well if you like butter coffee.
Oh, Olivia, if you have a link for that, that would be great, because I was just going to ask. I've bought several of those little whiskers, and they just don't last long. So I would love your recommendation on that. So that's a ton of kitchen stuff. You guys, are we ready to go to pantry and talk about the rest of the kitchen?
Let's go.
Well, the only thing I'd say is try and swap out all, if you're going to change your kind of storage containers. In fact, this is probably part of pantry. Your storage containers, change them all out, get rid of the plastic, go to glass. It's a good time to do that, Black Friday.
Yeah, mason
100%.
jars. And get them now, because they're going to be really, actually right now, they're probably the most expensive because everybody's canning. Like here in Canada, if I went out to buy my mason jars, I'd probably paying 10 to 20% more because they run out very quickly.
And Pyrex is one of the best brands out there, like making.
Yeah, the older brand, the older, not the newer one.
Make sure it's borosilicate, not the newer material they're using, because borosilicate is the best one. It's lab grade glass. They use that in labs too. It's very heat resistant and cold resistant.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ashley, do you have some pantry thoughts?
Andrea's in food thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, I just have my staples because I don't have many things. So like I like my bone broths. Because I don't get to make them. I just buy those from a company in Australia, and they've actually now introduced like a subscription, so you can do 30, 60, 90 days. So they actually just send all of them out to your house, which I think is quite nice, because I go through probably 1 jar a day. Not a day, I mean a week. I go through a jar a week, because that's pretty much all I drink, that and water, and my hydrogen water. So yeah, so I stick to that. And the other thing is, because Olivia got me onto the carnivore cookbook, and I couldn't find pork panko anywhere in Australia. I really struggled, and I found a company called Outback Jerky who they actually do a pork, like a keto crumb. So I've been able to make a lot of the recipes, which then help me on the days where if I'm craving something and all of that. So those are probably at the moment my 2 favorite, as well as collagen powder. I found a company in Australia as well, a gelatin company, which they do gelatin and collagen, and it's very clean, because I'm very conscious of labels and making sure that they're clean up. Even the pork panko that I've found is just pork and lard, and there's no other fillers in it. So those are my favorite at the moment, and I'll hand it over to someone else with some other products.
You go for it.
Oh, yeah. I would recommend, there are like several things. You can, if you find vanilla is okay for you, you can buy in bulk in Amazon. You can get it really cheap. It's much cheaper than getting it in the stores. Like you can get 25, in a pack or like that, and it's much cheaper. Plus, it's good quality. Also, if you need a baking powder alternative, you can buy individual ingredients like baking soda and cream of tartar, so it can be free of the starch that they usually add in the baking powders. Plus the aluminium, because you can get aluminium-free baking soda, which is an extra benefit. So you don't have to be worried about your health when cooking. For cheeses, these would be for only Europeans, because they don't ship to US, unfortunately, or any other continent. America, Australia are not sadly included, but for Europeans, we have really good Parmigiano Reggiano. You can order it directly from a shop called Silvano Romani. It's from it's I think it's in Parma or near the city. Anyway, Emilia Romagna, and they have the best selection of Parmigiano Reggiano in the world, probably, because I did my research and I couldn't find anything better. They have like 22 different kinds of Parmigiano, which you can get. You can get, you know, one breed of cows. You can get mountain milk, alpine milk, all kinds of different stuff, and they're all grass-fed, grass-finished, but they're all different. So if you're interested in Parmigiano Reggiano, which is the king of cheese, then that's a good option. Also, I would like to add that in iHerb you can get some good products like micro ingredients, beef gelatin powder, and their allulose, which is much cheaper than buying elsewhere. You get a lot of allulose for the money you're spending. Yeah, and there's some other like Frontiers cream of tartar there and Bob's baking soda. So pick whatever they would like. But iHerb has really good options and they ship everywhere in the world. So yeah, that's all.
That's cool. Hey, Olivia.
Yeah, so just to add to some of what Hugo just said, iHerb is fantastic for the panko that Ashley mentioned earlier, pork panko, which is used for loads of different recipes. That's where I get my pork panko. It's way cheaper than Amazon, and if you can get it on an iHerb deal, you can get I get like about 16 bottles in one go, and it's really quite cheap, really reasonable. So pork panko from iHerb, and then my favorite thing to have in the pantry is the red boat fish sauce. It's something everyone's probably using by now, but it is the way that you can have a version of soy sauce in your life that doesn't have any soy in it, and that you can use to have some kind of sashimi if that's something that you miss having. So if you've got some fresh salmon, or even if you want to just make it completely kind of lion diet, you can do it with beef as well. Dip it into the red boat sauce. You can get them in really big jars, and they're really worth buying in bulk and on Black Friday. But it tastes exactly like soy sauce, and it's just made out of anchovies, fermented anchovies. So it's really nice.
Wow, that's crazy. You guys, I never even heard of these things. So I'm so glad I'm listening and getting some ideas, because it's not been easy for me to be so meat-based, you know. In fact, even as a kid, I hated meat. So I had a really hard time. And then that's why it was great to be a vegetarian for a while. And then I realized it was not working, and it was really hard for me to start to eat meat. So I'm kind of excited to try some of these things. And I totally forgot about iHerb. So you're getting food products off of iHerb, and then of course they have supplements, so they probably do have some great Black Friday sales, I would imagine. I hope. Was that your last thought, Olivia?
Well, the other thing I'd say is, so if you want to eat wild caught fish, it's quite hard to get wild caught fish in this country, especially salmon. That's fresh, so you have to have it canned. So it's a good time of year to buy fish, and so we will get loads of canned wild caught salmon. The other thing we love is the cod livers, and they're amazingly high in fat, very nutritious. Whether you guys like them or not, they're amazing. But they're expensive, and so I will get those on Black Friday. Sardines, obviously, and then the other thing is from the UK, everyone's using it, but it's right from here, is Maldon Salt. Maldon in Essex is a great salt that is fantastic on the mineral side and low on the microplastics and heavy metals. So Maldon Salt is one to try and get a few, and it's not very expensive either, but it still is maybe worth getting on Black Friday.
Maldon, I can approve. Their oak smoke salt is the best smoke salt ever, by far.
I'll stick with it.
They use actual oak wood, and then I think cold smoke it probably. I'm not actually sure, but they do smoke it, and it's terrific. So I
don't know what they do.
I use it at home. I don't have a great some magic, but you know that combined with lamb is amazing. Like if lamb T-bones, it's worth. Like if you don't have a grill available, use that.
Hugo, when you come to the UK, go and do a tour of the Maldon Salt factory and try and fill our pockets.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to go to that.
Get chocolate factories now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Kim.
Yeah, well, that was pretty extensive, I'll tell you right there. So one of the things, you know, I don't really have much to add, but I am going to include a few things. One thing that is we found in panko, what nobody else pointed out, is make sure you have the proper ingredients. You want the pankos that are done in their own pork fat. You don't want them done in seed oils or anything else. Majority of panko crumbs and stuff like that are out there are done in seed oils. So the two that I highly recommend, and I've been researching like crazy, is Pork King is good. I find that one's really good, and you can get that on iHerb. I think any country on iHerb you can get Pork King, and the other one in Canada is Atlas Goods. And what it is you can put it on a frying pan or whatever, but their pork are as clean can be. So that's very important that I wanted to point out. Here's another thing too. If you want to make your own jerky and you say, oh, well, I can't find, like, dehydrators are expensive. Like, I think there's Corsi out there. There's so many different kinds. You can make that pork jerky in your oven. Just use your racks, clean your racks, and you can put your jerky over the racks at like a very low temperature, like 170, and just let them go for 12 hours. And that's how I started making my jerky. And all you need is salt. That's it. And also Olivia introduced Red Boat, which is probably the cleanest. I've been using Red Boat now for probably 8 years. And it's the cleanest out there, and it's just so delicious. You can even put that in for your beef jerky. And it just heightens it, just brings it up a whole new level. It's like you went into Costco and you bought their teriyaki jerky. It's yummy. Another thing too, we're talking about salts, and listen, I'm on board with Maldon. I went crazy. I spent copious amounts of money on my Maldon, but I also like Baja Gold. So if you can get yourself on Baja Gold, I think it's next to Maldon, as in a better salt. It's just, there's so much controversy out there over salt. You know, the bottom line, and I'm sure Hugo will agree, get away from the table salt, the crap that has iodine in it. That stuff has so many microplastics and everything in it. Just get away from there. So the two that were mentioned there, I think, are amazing.
I just recently got Baja Gold. It is really good. And it has a lot of potassium, magnesium. You know, it's a better electrolyte supplement than Maldon would be, because it's 84% sodium chloride. The rest are, you know, you're getting those electrolytes, and it's really clean. It's one of the purest salts ever tested for heavy metals. So.
Yeah, and that's what I turned to. I just got my third bag, actually, was iHerb. Again, iHerb is so universal. It's worldwide. I think iHerb is very good for that.
And also, we're going to have a link down in the description about the different salts you can buy and testing for those. So if you want a salt that has less heavy metals, you can get that. And it might be important, because if you're eating a few grams of salt per day, it might actually stack up. So, you know, some of the Himalayans might have too much, and you might get, you know, above the thresholds that are set by safety guidelines, because they recommend lower salt doses, but on carnivore and keto we eat more salt. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, as like pink Himalayan, you know, like I personally myself, I don't recommend it.
Unless it's
like
tested.
Hugo said, what's that, Hugo? Sorry.
Unless it is tested, you know.
Yeah.
There are Himalayans that have low heavy metals. So.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't really have time to go do the research, which is another reason why we've brought this podcast to you, is to just help you out a bit. And there'll be plenty of links, trust me, plenty of links. Also, another thing that I use, people always talk about knives. And, you know, knives, I've had many. I've thrown out many. I have the honing, you know, to keep it, stuff like that. And I finally fell upon, it's called Ninja Always Sharp. I love it. It's got 5 different knives in it, and from a paring knife to a great big huge like a boning knife. And as soon as they start getting a little bit dull, you just put it in the side of it and you sharpen it. And I found that was probably the best purchase I made for knives in probably over 3 years. And I use it every single day. I mean, I use it for cutting my steak. When I'm eating, I use the little paring knife. You name it, I use it. So that was the other thing. And I use Norwex products. I use their cutting boards because they don't shed anything, and they're made out of rice husks. So that's the other thing I use. So basically, that's all I have to add.
Anything else in pantry before we shift, because we're gonna head to lifestyle next. Hugo.
I would quickly add just there's a great knife shop in the Netherlands called Mr. Slippers, and the knife selection there is great, and I'm pretty sure they have Black Friday deals too. So if you want to get amazing knives and knife accessories like sharpening stones, you can get that from there. And they also have cutting boards, so maybe you're interested in those. They have wood options and all of that there as well. So that will be in the description too.
Cool. We'll all just have to go to the Netherlands next year. Olivia.
I was going to say, for anyone who doesn't want to get a dehydrator, doesn't have time to make jerky, doesn't want to get a slice and all that, you can buy jerky really easily. There's jerky in the US, which is Carnivore Snacks. In the UK, we've got Mason's Meats and the bag over here that I'm just eating right now. And they ship to everywhere apart from the US, so Australia, Europe. And there's some really good new ones coming through as well. I just tried another one last week. So these convenience foods are starting to come through. If people are like, oh, I haven't got the time for all of this, there's loads of stuff of convenient, clean meat-based products coming through. And the other one is pemmican. There's the Carnivore Bar in the US, there's Pemmican Project in the UK, and again, more of them coming through. So keep an eye on these kind of conveniences that are coming through. It's really good. I mean, obviously you're not going to have the shelf life, which is fine. You don't want all the additives that will come with. So you do need to eat it quite quickly, but we buy 1 box a month, and then we've got loads for if we're running out the house to take with us.
And none of those that you mentioned, Olivia, ship to Canada either. None of them. Unfortunately.
You've got your own boat in Canada, haven't you?
We tried getting it here on all of them. We can't. Well, Mason's Meat I've been trying to get for a while, and he's just not shipping international. And the carnivore bars and stuff, like everybody talks about it in the carnivore realm, you can't get it here in Canada. You used to be able to, and they stopped it.
Yeah, he does it. He ships internationally everywhere apart from the laws are very different there. But I think he's got big plans for North America. And the other thing is figuring out what the best kind of supplements are. We'll kind of come on to that, but I was just going to say Keto Pro is a good one to have to hand if you're in the UK.
Awesome.
I was just going to add with the bone broth that I use, which is the best of the bone. I do think they ship to many countries around the world as well. So I think a lot of time you can get it from Amazon as well. If you're in Australia, you can get it directly from the best of the bone. They do have the original flavor, but they do have quite a few other different flavors as well. Yeah,
and in How to Carnivore, that's one of the brands that they recommend to everybody worldwide. Ashley.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A really good one. I'll put that in.
It is tough with bone broth when you're looking at the ingredients. It's tough to find good brands, so I'm looking forward to checking that out for sure.
Looks like that. It's a bottle, it's paste.
I think I have seen that. Yeah, cool. Okay, lifestyle, you guys. This is one of my favorites because there's lots of fun toys in here. Wearables, like we talked about Oura Ring, and lights of, colorful lights if you can't get out and get your light. Scales, that sort of thing. Who wants to start this off? Ashley, you're up in the corner there. Oh, Kim, go for it.
I'll let Kim go.
No, Ash, go ahead, Ash.
Oh, I don't have a lot of the products you do. I've just got my Apple Watch, and I've got a few different, and I've got my red lights that I've got in the bedroom, the infrared lights for that. But I don't probably have nearly as many products as you guys do with that. I'm still learning which ones I want. I've just ordered some HOLO Glasses for helping with eye muscles. So that's my latest purchase. But all the Oura Rings and all that are on my list, so I'll be listening to what you guys are saying to add them to know what to buy on my Black Friday sales.
What about your water system there, Ashley?
I do have a water ionizer. That is probably my favorite item in the whole house, so that the whole family can drink hydrogen water. It has also removed a lot of the toxic chemicals from my house, because I do use the water to clean my face, I use it to clean my stove, so I don't have to use any chemicals. It's because it produces a 11.5 water, which is like a degreaser. So I just use water to clean my stove with a few drops of essential oils. I use it to mop my floors because I've got all my animals. So yeah, I do tend to use all of that. When we're getting sick, I use the 2.5 as a throat spray to help with that. So it does come in handy. That is probably my favorite out of all my items in my house. As well as producing hydrogen water. So yeah.
So, you guys know me. If there's something out there that's new, I'm buying it and I'm trying it. And I guess I could probably be a millionaire 10 times over if I save my money from buying all these. Some of them are gadgets, but I'll tell you which ones are my favorite and I use all the time. Number one, blue blockers. I use them constantly. Every day, if I'm on the computer or wherever I am, I'll use my blue blockers, and then I have the red ones for just before nighttime as well. Aura Ring, I've used, I think I'm upwards of maybe 12, 13 different wearables, and the best one I've ever found was the Aura Ring. I think it's just superior to all the other ones, and the thing that I like about the Aura Ring the most is it tracks your body temperature. And tracking your body temperature, I think, was a game changer for me. Geez, I have so many. The other one is an EMF mat or a PEMF mat. So I use that for grounding, and I use that also for recovery. I have a herniated disc. I have chronic plantar fasciitis, and I have bursitis in both shoulders. So red light therapy, I use, I wouldn't say daily, but I'm up there. I'm up there a lot with that. Another one that you guys probably haven't heard of that I also use, and Cindy, you're gonna probably chime in on this one too, because it's awesome for fascia. It's called Myobuddy. And I don't know if anybody's heard of that, but it's just a handheld. And at the end, it's got a very soft cover, and it's percussion, and it's also vibrating, and it gets right into the fascia. It loosens it up. It's great for I use mine for my plantar fasciitis, and I use mine also for my bursitis. And if you were ever going to get any of those handhelds like percussions or anything like that, the one I recommend, and I've had, I think 7 now, Myobuddy. And there'll be a link below for that too. And yeah, that thing was a game changer, especially for sciatica. If you have sciatica, stuff like that is very good. And I sell Norwex, and my whole house is Norwex. Everything in my house is Norwex. Anything from cloths to cleaners, my laundry, my disinfectants, everything in my house is Norwex. It's just something that they use enzymes. It's planet friendly. It doesn't have any harmful chemicals. And yeah, everything in my house is Norwex. That's the other thing I use. So those are the main things that I use in my home. Oh yeah, and essential oils. I use essential oils as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify what Norwex is. It's a microfiber cloth. So it's the way that it's made. These little microfibers are really good at pulling up stuff. You often don't even need anything other than water. Ashley goes right along with your water as a cleaner, right? Yeah.
It's got silver in it, so it's embedded with silver. So it's actually antimicro. Help me with the
microbial.
Word. Thank you. Microbial. I knew you guys would find it. And also they've done tests where they put raw chicken on a counter, and they've spread it all around, and they've taken another cloth and they wiped it off. And I had a friend that I watched her do it, and they tested for bacteria and stuff like that. It was everywhere, and they just wet the microfiber cloth and wiped it down. There was zero, absolutely zero. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I bought it. I have dogs and me, and I trape all through the house and stuff like that. And I just use the cloth mostly to wipe everything down. And I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying this is what I use, and this is what works for me. And if you're interested in it, it's a great product. And there's another one in the I think it's a Sweden brand, which I'll put a link for below. I can't remember what it is, but it's equivalent, if not better. And I'll put that link below as well.
Since we're talking about microfiber, the Rack company makes great microfibers too. I use those on my TV and their surfaces, and they just pull the dust away. The Rack company.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they have really nice microfibers, and I use them on my TV. It absorbs the dust immediately. Just a few swipes and that's it. But I also, for my glasses, another like sensitive tech, I have a koala microfiber cloth. It's made in the US, and it's really nice. It's Japanese microfiber. It's by far the best microfiber I've ever tried. I don't even have to use a lens cleaning fluid for my glasses. It's just, most of the time.
You don't with Norwex either. Norwex is amazing too. They have one that for cleaning glasses, it's amazing.
Yeah. So getting a good microfiber is worth it.
Yeah. I agree.
Olivia, did you have a suggestion for a scale? We had talked about that before. I think that's a great.
I mean, I don't have these, but I've seen people really raving about them, which are these body scales now, where you pull the handle up and you're getting a bit better accuracy on your body composition, and then it obviously links to your phone through Bluetooth, and you can really monitor your body composition as time goes on. So I would love to get one of those. That might be something I'll look for on Black Friday. I don't have any particular brands to promote on that one or experience with any brands, but other than that, I mean, the main things for me will be a cold plunge. If you're thinking about getting into the cold this winter and really getting all the benefits of that, Black Friday is a good time to grab your cold plunge. I use MyoMaster. There's Lumi. There's many other brands out there that people can get, probably different ones in the US. And I also have infrared sauna, which I haven't been using very much, but I'm going to start using it now that it's winter. And so I'll do a bit of hot and cold therapy with the cold plunge. And then the other thing we have recently acquired is some grounding bed sheets, and these I really like. It's hard to tell whether they're doing anything or not, but I feel maybe it's psychosomatic, but I feel like they are doing something. Like I feel more relaxed when I'm sleeping on grounding sheets. I don't know why, and I sleep for longer and deeper, and I can tell because I've got an Oura ring, so I can monitor my sleep. And it does seem to have improved in terms of the quality since we've had the grounding sheets. So those would be my main additions. And Ash talked about water. Water is something, we don't have like a whole water system. And if you don't want to go that far, we have a jug, a filter jug, which is much better than your average Brita filter or any of the standard jugs. It's called the alkanated jug. And we can put a link to that as well, but it does pretty much do the job of reverse osmosis and the remineralization. And then what we do is we have a carbonator, because I only drink carbonated water, and we carbonate all the filtered water after that. I'm not doing any of the hydrogen stuff yet. I want to start getting into that, but that's where we are with water. It's quite an easy fix, I think, to have an alkanated jug to get your water really nice and fresh. You can definitely taste the difference for not very much.
Awesome. I do have one of those scales you mentioned, Olivia, and I love it. I just really recommend getting the one where you hold the handle like you mentioned, and it's really scanning your whole body. It's pretty amazing, and I feel like it's pretty accurate. And they're so inexpensive now. I have a fun story. When I was in exercise science, my master's program, this is like over 30 years ago, 30 something years ago, really. That's hard to believe, actually. I remember when these first came out, this bioimpedance idea of measuring body fat. Some company gave our science lab one to use. And it was like $25,000 for this device. And now we can get the same kind of scale for $100, and that does even more. It's just fantastic how technology has come along. So definitely look at those scales. And I have a link for the one that I use, but so many of them are very, very similar. So definitely a great tool. Kim.
Yeah, just before so I've I've used, I think, 5 or 6 of the different scales, and the one that I like the most is by Hume Health. And it's exactly that. You grab the wand, you pull it up, and it covers your whole body. And I found that one was probably the most accurate. However, nothing is as accurate as going to, what's that scan called that we get?
DEXA scan.
Thank you. Yep, yeah. DEXA scan. However, as a baseline, and you stay on the same scale, you'll be able to see a lot of differences too. So mine, and I'll put a link below, is Hume Health. Also for cold plunge, here in Canada, Coldture, so COLDTURE, which will be a link before. They have where you can buy the whole kit and caboodle for like $5,000-$6,000, and they have great deals on. Or you can just get the pod, the little pod that you can start with for a couple $100, which is what I kind of started with. And I've seen Costco has them, any store, just whatever you can afford, get. I mean, even if it's a garbage bin like Ashley uses, like anything for the cold plunge. And yeah, so with the Hume Health, that's the one. That's what I want to put in. That's the one I use, and I find it pretty good.
I just want to add one more thing on sleep that we talked about. Absolutely essential is having a sleep mask. So I don't know if anyone mentioned it.
All
I don't think.
I agree.
I could not sleep without a real proper, the neoprene, not the sleep mask that you get on the plane, which are touching your eyelids, but the ones that have the cavity where you can open your eyes and still see nothing. That is a game changer when it comes to sleep quality, and I could not sleep without those things.
I agree.
And blacking out the room.
Even more important than blue blocking glasses, because if I don't use my sleep mask, I don't get nearly as good of sleep. Even if I block out the lights, because you have daylight coming in, and if your sleep schedule is a bit out of whack and you don't rise with the sun, you might be fatigued in the day. So that's where the sleep mask comes in.
So I'm going to argue this is that yes, sleep masks are amazing. It's the ambience of your room that is the most important, and it comes down to temperature, and it comes down to your electronics you have in your room. If you just remove your electronics, then there's going to be a huge difference in your room too. So I mean, lots of people I heard that have sleep masks, they're successful, and other people aren't. I think it's the ambience of your room that is the game changer. And even if you have something, that's why I highly recommend the red light night lights, because they actually don't wake you up from your sleep. Yeah, it's I don't know. We're going to be going down that rabbit hole when we get into sleep as well. And I mean, I've done a couple courses on it, and if you're going to leave your electronics and everything else in your room, I agree with Olivia. Absolute game changer. Absolute game changer. But changing the ambience in your room makes a huge difference as well. Huge.
And I'll just add one more thing, which is grounding shoes that I don't think I mentioned, but a few of us have recently bought grounding shoes, and that just gives you a chance to, if you don't have at the moment we can't go outside because we're redoing our grass, for example, so I can't ground, which is crazy. But grounding shoes are a convenient way of grounding throughout the day if you can be somewhere near nature and just be walking around, not barefoot. So those are, and they tend to be quite expensive, so they're a good one to try and snap up on Black Friday.
Yeah, I picked up a pair too, and I wear them every single day when I do my steps. I'm noticing a difference. I truly am. Usually I do it barefoot, but when you step on a twig or something, it kind of hurts. So Olivia, myself, and Hugo, I think, bought some at the same time. I'm loving mine. I think they're awesome.
I bought a pair from Baja, so I'm waiting on them. They should arrive next week, I think. But yeah, it's their new shoe. It's the thinnest barefoot shoe. I wanted the thinnest one, even for running, because I recently went to Paris, and in 9 days I had major adaptive change on my bottoms of my feet. The skin became so much harder and tougher. Usually walking on asphalt or concrete hurts, but after these shoes, it doesn't hurt anymore. And I accidentally stepped on a nail. It didn't go through my skin. It did hurt like hell, but it didn't go through my skin, surprisingly. And no block came out either. So it works.
And the last thing is EMF blockers. I think EMF blockers are a game changer as well. I mean, One that I like is Aries, and it's like right there in the back of my phone. And it's like a 10-foot radius. And another thing, if you want to buy clothing, Lamb clothing is EMF blocking as well. So even they have hats, they have everything, especially for flying on a plane. I mean, you can use all kinds of different things, but Lamb is a really good product as well. And again, there'll be links below.
Okay, I'm going to interject here. Finally, you guys shifted over to the next category that I had, which was clothing. So thanks, Livia, for bringing in the whole shoe thing.
We missed one thing though.
What?
X-Free. Yeah, X-Free has been.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the X-Free system I think has been a game changer. You know, instead of needing to go to a gym, you can do everything at home, and you can even get results faster. At least that was my case and my experience. So that's my number one wellness or fitness item on the list by far.
I'll second it.
Yeah, you
I
guys.
love it.
So you have to sway me a little bit more. I'm not in love with it yet, but yeah, I do have one, so I'm ready to get active and try it anyhow. So okay, so that wraps up the lifestyle, and we already started into the clothing and shoes, the grounding stuff, and we're getting a little long in our time here. But I'll mention this as far as clothing, and I admit I have not switched to this fully, and it's probably one of those areas that I won't fully switch to, like natural clothing, because you know, you can't do everything, right? So you minimize your exposure to bad stuff. But this is a great time to explore some of these natural clothing items. I know linens and silks and organic cotton, that sort of thing. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, or if there's anything else we want to say in regards to clothing.
Well, yeah, Hugo mentioned wool. And I'll tell you, our military's been using it forever. So wool, I'm still a firm believer in.
There's a lot of options for jeans that are 100% organic cotton. You can get those in the US. You can get those in Europe. So there are options out there. And we'll of course link the specific, stores in the description, but there are multiple of those and they're shipped worldwide. So that would be my go-to. Plus you can also get other types of clothing cotton too, and certified Ecotex and different standards. So there's more transparency in what you buy. So that will also be in the description. So
I agree. And I love the wool idea. And I think that's definitely something that pops up for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I do my, icebreaker wool, the smart wool companies and others now that are coming out. So I love that. I love that idea. And then the other two categories that I had on here, supplements and body care and essentials like that. So I know, Ashley, you make your own tallow. That's amazing. I don't, but do you guys have thoughts on anything like that real quick, categories or companies that you prefer? We already mentioned iHerb for supplements. That's a great one.
I also use it, but when I'm doing it, I use some essential oils. So I know Kim uses doTERRA. I use Young Living. They're always great to
use Young Living also.
Yeah, they're great to add to a few of the different things as well. When you're making them, or also using them around the home, for cleaners and things like that too.
Yes, awesome. Another thing that I will use for, I'm sorry, Olivia, that is also exogenous ketones. And let's not get into that whole topic, but I do use them and on occasion. And so I will definitely be looking for sales in that regard. Go ahead, Livia.
I was just going to finish off on the tallow to say that it's pretty easy to make your own. I make my own all the time. But if you don't want to make your own, in the UK there is Tallow Glow, which is fantastic. It's really, really amazing product. So just look up Tallow Glow, and in the US, Purely Tallow by Serena is a great as well. And
if you can, local would be best. At least in Estonia we have great local options for tallow. For food grade tallow, but you can use it on skin. It's grass-fed, grass-finished. You can also get soaps made from tallow, which is You know, they're far above the standard soaps. So yeah, in Estonia, I can link those options too. And for those that are listening from Estonia.
Yeah. Once you start using tallow, I don't think you can go back to using anything cosmetic, like commercial. It's so good. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm about to look, I've been just looking at sunscreen options because we're going away in December. And there are a few companies that are actually doing a tallow zinc combination for suntan lotion to get away. So because it's one of the worst things that we can put on our bodies as well, the commercial suntan lotions, so to block it out. And I'm very conscious of that after having a basal cell carcinoma. I'm pretty conscious of all of that as well. So the sun in Australia can be pretty harsh. So it is about finding that correct, finding the right one that is going to suit your body. And a lot of those normal suntan lotions do have horrible toxic chemicals. So it's about finding a good one that doesn't have as many nasties inside.
And the same goes for tallow. I've seen many tallows or tallows that I've ordered from US and Canada that they're cut with seed oils. So, I think it's very, very important that you check out and make sure you know what the products are or how they're made. Some have honey in them, some have different types of stuff, because just having basic tallow, it's the longevity of it. And lots of people will cut it with different things so they get a longer shelf life out of it as well. So know your ingredients of what's in them as well.
Best experiment is to actually consume it yourself, If you wouldn't consume it, you probably wouldn't want to put it on your body too.
Exactly.
In most cases.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep. 100%.
I agree with that.
Yep.
So lastly, something that I wanted to bring up and just to mention briefly is education and books. And that's a whole nother topic. But I will tell you that on Black Friday last year, I had some great deals with educational things. So take a look out for Audible. I know a lot of us use audible.com here to listen to books and to learn. I got several courses last year from Nutrition Network, which is an education company out of South Africa with Professor Tim Noakes, which I haven't completely finished all of them, but it was 50% off. So that enabled me to get those educational programs. Great Courses is another one. Mind Valley. There's so many different companies out there where you can learn and grow and just add to your education. And there's lots of sales around Black Friday and Cyber Monday on those companies. So anything else you guys want to add in regards to that? No. Awesome. Are we ready to wrap up?
I mean, look out for any subscription, to be honest, usually
Absolutely.
Subscriptions are heavily discounted by Black Friday. So any kind. And then you can renew annually. So you can just get it for 1 year. Then you have Black Friday again. You can just use that to your advantage and get things cheaper.
Exactly. I love it.
Good point. Good point, Hugo.
Thanks, you guys, and thanks for joining us. We hope we gave you guys some great ideas. I know I got some great ideas. So I'm super excited to hear from you all and check out these links to come. So yeah, guess that's it. Anything else?
Nope.
All right.
Thanks, Cindy.
Have a good
Thanks.
one.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.